You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 11th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Finance Committee 2023 Budget Workshop. You can find more information on this workshop by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Finance Committee Budget Workshop. Today is August 11th, 2022, and the time now is 5:09 p.m. I am Tracy Tillman, City Finance Chair, and also we have in attendance is Committeeman Sean Fitzpatrick and Paul Przybylski. On tonight on the City Finance Committee Budget Workshop, I would like to start off by saying that moving forward, that we will conduct this in a decent and in orderly manner. Moving forward, we will keep this streamlined to all of the budget departments that will come forth for their budget hearings. Anything that is not related to or is steered from the topic at hand, I would request for those conversations to be had so that we can stay focused on this and so that we'll be able to move forward to get these, to get the budget process running smoothly. So with that being said, the meeting is called to review the following. I am requesting if Controller Hoffmaster could give a synopsis of the 2023 budget and review of proposed salary hourly pay increases.
I did Is it on now? Yeah, it's popped up. Yep, then it's on. The chair doesn't go on.
The base on the mic.
Oh, yeah, that's why I did one. Sorry. So I apologize to the public that watches this in the future. The total of the proposed budget that we submitted is $67,804,184. Which is slightly higher than the 2022 budget. We have added approximately 12 positions to various departments throughout the city. We do have pay increases included in this budget, and we will be going over those at a workshop. I believe is going to be next Wednesday. That would be the 17th.
18th.
And the 18th is Thursday. So the 17th would be next Wednesday.
Oh,
And I think the only other thing that the budget in your budget workbooks is a balance sheet.
thank you, Controller Hoffmaster. And I also would like to say thank you to the Controller's Office for providing us with our full budget work, our budget worksheet booklets on today in order for us to move forward and that they are complete. Next, we'll have the 2023 boards and commissions, starting with the Historic Preservation Review Board.
Move one over. Move one over.
Mm-mm. He's at page two. He's at 32. 32. That's tree board. Oh, sorry. That should be located on page 25 of your workbook. Yes.
Yeah, picture.
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, committee, sorry. I'm Skylar York. I'm the Director of Planning and Redevelopment, the City of Michigan City. Historical Review Board is housed in my department. We staff it. And what's in your budget tonight is $7,500. And this is the annual contract that covers Indiana landmarks, which provides kind of they act as a mediator between staff and public and commission and public, but they provide a service that they do our staff reports, and they provide an unbiased opinion based upon our local ordinances. So that's kind of the process that or the purpose they serve, and this is just their annual contract amount.
Are there any questions from the finance committee?
Yeah, what was the increase to 7,500 from, I think it was last year was 20?
So the increase is due. Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sean. The increase is due because we are seeing many more COAs than we've ever had. We went from 2 or 3, or maybe I should have had those numbers for you, but we've seen as many as 16 a meeting, 15 a meeting, 11 a meeting, whereas used to we only have maybe 5 or 2 or 3 or any.
Is that due to a lot of new purchases of?
It's due to purchasing, and it's a good sign. Absolutely. It's a very good sign for our city. It's good for our historic districts in that we're seeing people actually following the rules, and we're seeing exactly what you just said, an increase in people purchasing houses and wanting to fix them up, we have 3 districts, and it's across all the districts. You're seeing reinvestment.
Thanks, Skylar. Motion to approve the Historic Review Board proposed budget in the amount of $7,500.
Second.
All those, oh,
We got a motion and a second. Need to vote.
we have a motion and a second, and the motion carries.
Got to vote.
And I'll take a vote. Paul Prince-Belinsky,
Aye.
Sean Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Tillman, aye.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Motion carries. Next, we'll have the tree board. Page 32 of the workbook. Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Mary Nell Murphy with the tree board, a new member on the tree board. And want to thank the committee and the council for this proposed budget, and we would hope to receive this budget.
Any comments or questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the tree board proposed budget in the amount of $5,059.
Second.
Vote. Motion and a second. Approved. And
Take a vote still.
a vote, Paul Prince-Belinsky,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Ms. Tillman, aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll have the Animal Board.
Okay, that one's me.
Oh, okay.
So this is, yep, this is Fund 2567 under all the other funds, and it's page 145. And 146.
Madam President, what page is it on?
Page 145
145 and 146.
on the under the last tab. Yep, towards the back of the book.
In the other funds tab.
Okay, this fund was established under ordinance number 4260 in 2013. And what this fund does is we take 2/3 of the animal control violations and they're transferred into this fund. And we have MOUs with the Humane Society, the LaPorte County one, and it's Freed still and Freeds. So they each get, we used to have another one on there but the MOUs with them, they receive 25% of the violations that we collect and transfer into this fund. So what this does is it shows an average amount of the violations that we transfer into this fund. And then we just budget to pay those out. So we pay out what we bring in to this fund.
Any questions from the committee?
I make a motion to adopt.
Support.
Yeah, fund, excuse me, I should put on it. Animal Control Fund 2567
In the amount of
in the amount of
35.
3,500 even.
a motion approved and support and take a vote. Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Chris Valinsky,
Aye.
Tillman, aye. 3 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries. Next up, we will have this, oh, you guys want to hear for that? Public art.
Good evening, committee. I'm Shannon Eason, treasurer of the Michigan City Public Art Committee, and Janet Block is the co-chair of that committee. This year, we're asking the council for an additional $20,000 to increase our Sculpt Fusion program. That's a sculpture program that you see mainly in the Uptown Arts District. But we'd like to continue that program into Midtown, south of the city, and start spreading some artwork out into our neighborhood, which would include murals and other forms of artwork. In the 10 years of the Sculpt Fusion program, we brought in over 35 sculptures with a value of over $1 million. Our 2022 program has 27 sculptures currently that are either owned or leased by the city with a value of almost $750,000. So it's a very vibrant program. And like I said, we would ask for the additional funding to start reaching out into other areas of the city and not just our downtown.
In the front? Oh, look, there.
I'd also just like to add that in the last few years, we have been asked repeatedly for more art in the neighborhoods. We provided scholarships for kids, which is what you see pictures of. We provided the photos that you see in the chamber. There are so many things that we have to do with a budget that hasn't been increased in, I think, 5 years. So yeah, it was actually decreased at one point. And I would like to point out one other thing is that we have an AutoCast program, which is a program that a free app people can download so they can tour the sculptures. And we have seen, and seriously, if you want to see these numbers, a 394% increase in people going to that app and listening about, and certain sculptures are more popular than others. But it is definitely attracting people and taking people through the city. Whether those are residents or tourists, I couldn't tell you, but people are, I know that artists are attracted more and more to coming here because of the kinds of programs that we're doing.
Thank you.
All right, I got a question. So is there any specific plans or programs to extend the art beyond the north end? Because I mean, we all know that it's there and it's always been there, but the rest of the city has kind of been overlooked, I guess.
I absolutely agree 100%. And I think this committee really does as well. And that is really where we would hope to put additional art. You know, from the gateways through the west side, the east side. I absolutely agree. And I think that I'm really unanimous, you know, can speak for the whole group.
So, Mr. Fitzpatrick, we do have a plan as far as site selection throughout the city. So we have mapped out locations for our art throughout the entire city. Some of the locations are better suited for high-profile sculptures. One of the programs we're working on right now is a mural on the concrete wall at Canada Park, right by Bismarck Hill. Kind of an ugly wall. It's painted blue right now. So again, that neighborhood wants some artwork brought into it. So different types of art, different types of neighborhoods.
And when
We do have a master plan that does kind of dictate that we start spreading out. We just have such a limited budget right now, $22,000 to do the downtown sculptures. That's it. Like, we have no money.
And that includes installation, it includes the call for art, it includes all the other projects.
No specific schedule of putting anything outside of it. So this basically is just to maintain what's already here and bring new stuff.
No,
Our
it's to,
current budget is to maintain our current programming for Sculpt Fusion. We're asking for an additional 20 to reach outside of the Sculpt Fusion program and move art out into our neighborhoods.
and we would absolutely welcome like some visits from the council to help us decide what those sites could be. I will tell you one thing, that Lou Besnick Center just funded a mural on its own with the church. You probably might have read about it on New Hope. And the reason that we did that is that there are more limited buildings that are, because we at the committee, we can only deal with public, with city-owned property. So if we had a list of like other property sites that the city owns, that maybe we could also do mural programs in more areas. But that really has been a limitation and why we focus on sculpture, because it's a lot easier to place a sculpture on public property than mural. But, you know, but even I would say the committee feels a responsibility. All of our members feel like we want to do what we can do to put art in the park, to put art in the neighborhood. So there is like a synergy happening.
Thank you. Yes, committee members, Don Prespolinski, City Councilman, and I am the liaison to the Arts Committee. And I have attended many other meetings and many of their fundraising events that they've had. And this is a group that has fundraising. They go out and fundraise. Besides having a budget through the city, But I am in total agreement with Janet and Shannon that in the whole committee, we need to expand the arts in the city. You know, now we're kind of taking care of the downtown area, which we have for years, but now we want to expand south, east, west, you know, the Midtown area, right in the middle of Michigan City. We're all talking about we want a development in there. We want things to look nice. Well, this art that's coming, and there's a piece of art at the corner of Ripley and Franklin Street, really dresses up that part of town. And we could see this throughout the whole community if we could just get more funding. And I can guarantee you, just like I try to look for funding, this group here is always trying to look for grants and, you know, having a boat ride, which got canceled, you know, and just trying to nickel and dime things. Well, you know, you can only nickel and dime things so long when you have to really make an investment into a project that, you know, these folks can be appreciated for and show an appreciation for what they're doing for the city. So I fully support the $20,000 increase to this budget. And never before have I gotten up and talked in front of the finance committee for a community group, not a community group, but a committee like this to expand their budget. But I fully believe in this group, and I fully support them 120%. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
When our committee started, I've been on it since the beginning, since 2011. Our mandate was actually to find sculpture or find art for the North End. That was actually at that time what the administration asked us to do. So I don't want you to actually think that that was always like what we had in mind. You know, as things seem to be much more neighborhood friendly and community friendly now, I think there's a different energy. So I'm just letting you know that it wasn't like we came into it as individuals with this idea. That was what we were asked to do at the time.
And with that being said, so then I'm taking that it's more open, more freely to look at these other areas to implement art.
I think that it's something we've all wanted to do for a long time, and now we feel like our mayor supports it and that others are supporting that. Yeah, I don't think there was a sense that that was what people wanted from us at that time. So I hope I'm speaking accurately.
I know Paul got a question, but just to wrap up from what the initial question that I asked is, and I just want to put this on the record too. I know we have a big wall that's coming to our city. It's called Double Track. And I don't want the focus to be left on the north side of those tracks and forget that the rest of the city exists, whether it be art or funding for what other projects have going on. I mean, just listening to what we had going on with the historic area being upgraded and more activity there. I mean, we want some of that art in those areas too. So I'm gonna make a personal attempt at looking at the ordinance and see if there's any wording or phrasing that could be added or tweaked to make it where it's part of the program to be inclusive of the entire city. So
I think that every member of our committee would actually be in favor of that.
Yeah.
thank you.
I have a question, and your professional services was increased. Are those professional services, that's like for putting up something, right?
Installation.
Right?
Yeah.
So don't you think that should be increased? If you're gonna increase your budget, if you're gonna increase your placement of statues, of art forms, because then you can lease the art and then you can put it somewhere. So I think maybe we should ask for an increase in that before we pass this, I'm looking at it because didn't you say it was like $2,500 to place something or more? It's more than that now, right?
If I can, with that being said though, Controller Hoffmaster, if that was an increase and the whole overall is increasing by 20,000, at some point, would they be able to do a transfer from the line item into that to increase it at that time?
Okay,
Because sometimes we get it donated. I mean, believe me, artists are super generous. They've donated plenty of sculptures to us already. And a lot of times, like somebody or Marcus Electric will help us for free. We don't always know, and that's why it's, we're always asking. Believe me.
Okay, well, I'm just, you guys have an ambitious agenda. And I think that we need to look at it so you can start placing these things. And it takes some doing to get, like that one that was put up on Ripley Street. How much did that base cost for that? 'Cause-
That piece is being leased for 2 years.
No, I meant the placement of it,
Oh,
the base.
the artist
That artist
did it.
donated it.
Really?
No, yeah, I don't know. He donated the base.
Not the base, he donated the installation services. for
Services.
His 2 pieces and another artist piece. Coordinated it with her to
Okay,
meet on
But-
Saturday.
okay.
But you're right. I mean, if we need it, like we're building a base, we're having a base for the Native American
Right.
turtle. And how much is that? That's quite a bit,
$4,000.
$4,000. So yeah, I mean,
It just varies on the piece.
but yes, if we,
Well,
we
I mean,
we don't want to be greedy, but we'd be happy to get
I'm
more.
not saying being greedy, but we have to move forward.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it takes,
Want to do something, it's not, to me, to get the item placed,
Mhm.
it's a nominal fee. To me,
okay.
because art,
Well,
you
yes,
have
we
to-
do need it is the real answer to that. I mean, it
And the
really
answer
is.
to your question is, we do have the ability to move between funds. So if it's in the rentals and we decide that we are going to hire an artist to paint a mural on the west side, then we can just move it up to services. It's one meeting to get that transferred. And we do it quite often because art, every piece is different, every situation is different.
right, oh, okay, yeah, doing a mural is better than gang graffiti, that's for sure,
But there's some pretty
Cool
contracted gang graffiti art. I wouldn't say gang,
No,
but
not gang,
graffiti
graffiti.
artists that Janet has brought,
graffiti art,
that she's
that-
brought to town, and they do amazing
Okay.
work.
I-
right.
I
Alright.
hope we can find more buildings that are public buildings that would be an option to do murals on. Because I'm saying that's an issue, is there aren't that many, but we feel like are valuable for us to come and try to contract an artist with. So we could do sculptures and murals, yes.
That's good. Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the department fund. I don't really know, is that out of the I'll put it as the fund 500 on the general fund 101. Department fund 500 for the year of 2023 budget. To approve it. With the increase. Yeah,
Second.
Yeah, support.
Motion
Motion and second.
Motion and a second was made. And take a vote. Paul Prince-Malinsky,
aye.
John Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Tracy Tillman, aye.
Thank you very
Motion
much.
carries.
Thank you so
3-0.
much, Sean.
Ayes,
Talk
nay.
to me.
All right.
I'll put it all over.
No,
them.
I'll probably be dropping in on one of you guys' meetings because I got some other ideas now that we're sitting here talking about it. Thank you.
Next, we'll go on to council. Page 13 of your workbook.
Ours is pretty easy. The only really change, and I think we had an amendment earlier this year, is our legal services. That increased with having a new contract for services. That is the biggest thing that I know. I think there's a slight increase in salary. What, $400? Something like that. Something like that. But it's really the 20 whatever thousand that we had in legal services over the last several years went up to 45,000. And we've seen that increase even with our former, when we went month to month, is approximately the same. So we need that with the different annexations and different things that we're bringing to the table. That was the biggest increase in our budget.
Anything?
I hope y'all don't have any questions for me. But everything else is pretty much the same.
Any questions from the committee?
No.
Can I have a motion?
I so move to approve, account 104 out of the general fund, 101,001.
In the amount of $195,264. Second.
A motion and a motion and a second has been made. We'll take a vote. Paul Prespolinski.
Aye.
Sean Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Tracy Tillman. Aye. Motion carries. 3 yeas, 0 nays. Next up, we will have corporate counsel.
Good evening. How are you? Amber LePage, Stallbridge Corporation Counsel. Thank you for letting me go out of order, Ms. Tillman. I appreciate it.
Page 26.
Ready?
Yes.
So Councilwoman Tillman, when I filled out your form and returned it about some substantial changes to my budget, I think the biggest substantial change that I'm asking for is to hire another part-time attorney to come into the office. We put down a salary of $55,000. But where we're at is we used to have 3 attorneys years ago. It dwindled down to 2, and then for budget purposes, it went down to 1. Right now with what I'm doing and what Skylar is wanting to accomplish for the planning department, specifically with ordinance violations, orders to demolish, orders to repair, I think now is the time to look at bringing in some additional help. I can be honest with you, at times it gets a little overwhelming doing everything. I've managed, but I think it'd be a little bit more efficient with what some of our goals are to have another person, another body in there.
With that other person in that position being part-time, would you be looking for a paralegal or?
No, a licensed attorney, because I want that individual to have the ability to go into court to prosecute ordinance violations. So we would require the Juris Doctorate degree.
I got a question. So by part-time, what does that mean exactly?
What I was thinking is a minimum of 20 hours a week. Could be more depending on the circumstances and what it would dictate, but at least 20 hours a week.
Yes.
At whatever, you'd have to make a contract or have something in mind. Is this gonna be a flat rate, or is this gonna be, are we gonna be paying benefits at, including them?
Yeah, so they would be an employee, and we would include it with benefits, is what we contemplated, correct?
So in other words, it's not part-time, it's gonna be full-time because they're gonna be getting benefits too.
Part-time with benefits, yes.
So, and that is accrued. So Yvonne, how much do you have an idea how much then the total cost is with their health share on that, the total amount for that? Because it's not 55,000,
Yeah, it's in the neighborhood of 85 to 90,000.
it's in the neighborhood.
And to attract somebody, we do have to offer the benefits.
So, you know, you said a bunch of violations. Is that with citations because of the new zoning ordinance?
No, not just that in particular, just in general. We have a lot of nuisance properties and trying to get them cleaned up, trying to get people to comply. It is a challenge at times, and I really wanted the extra help to go into court and prosecute it because I think a lot of things warrant going in front of a judge.
Any other comments from the committee? Is there a motion for approval? Okay, sorry.
Just one additional thing. By doing this, this also will bring in additional revenue to the city. You know, with the ordinance violations where we will see, we could recoup some of the cost of this by having them pay for the violations.
Okay.
It's possible. I don't hang my hat on it.
Yeah.
But there's a possibility.
You're not gonna accumulate that much.
Correct.
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna accumulate that much money.
Maybe a week of vacation.
Right.
Is there a motion for approval?
Yeah, so moved. Motion to approve the Fund 112 attorneys in the amount of, are we at this 323 number? 408. Oh, so, okay, gotcha. In the amount of $408,132.
Support. Motion and a second has been given. We'll take a vote. Councilman Quizalinski,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Mr. Tillman, aye. Motion carries 3 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you.
That will conclude our 2023 finance budget workshop for today. We will resume again on August 18th, 2022 at 5 p.m. And we will be going over the with Controller Hoffmaster, the summary of the 2023 budget and review of all proposed salary, hourly, and pay increases, engineer, personnel, human rights, executive 1, Controller's office, clerk's office, mayor's office, city hall, aviation, cemetery, department budget, planning and inspection budget. And on the 18th, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, I will not be in attendance on August 18th, and I have requested and asked Councilman Sean Fitzpatrick to reside over the budget hearings on that day. Meeting adjourned.